Chosen one. Before you scroll away, listen carefully. This message is not for everyone. It is for the person who chose to do what was right, even when nobody noticed. The one who stayed faithful while others walked away. The one who prayed in silence, cried in private, and kept believing when there was no visible reason to hope. If that's you, don't leave this message halfway, because what you're about to hear may explain why something has been shifting around your life lately. God is saying, I saw what no one else saw. I watched every silent battle. I counted every tear. I remembered every sacrifice. While people judged your results, I was watching your heart. While others ignored your kindness, I recorded every act of obedience. You thought those moments were forgotten, but heaven never forgot them. Chosen one. There are blessings that are released publicly, and there are blessings that are prepared secretly. The blessing coming into your life belongs to the second kind, because the faith you showed wasn't for attention. You weren't trying to impress people. You simply refused to stop trusting God. That decision changed something in the spiritual realm. Even though nothing seemed to happen immediately, heaven began moving on your behalf. Many people quit just before their breakthrough. Many lose hope because they cannot see what God is doing behind the scenes. But you kept moving. You kept praying. You kept choosing peace instead of revenge. You kept showing kindness when people gave you reasons to become bitter. You kept forgiving when your heart wanted justice. You kept believing when your circumstances told you to surrender. God says, that is why I am rewarding you now. Not because you were perfect, not because you never made mistakes, but because your heart remained faithful when nobody was watching. Your private obedience has created a public blessing. Something is already beginning to change. Maybe you cannot see it today, but conversations are changing. Doors are being prepared. People are being positioned. Opportunities are moving toward you. Even now, God is arranging details that you know nothing about. The delay was never a denial. It was preparation. There were things inside you that needed to grow before the blessing arrived. If it had come earlier, you wouldn't have been ready to carry it. Now your faith is stronger, your wisdom is deeper, your heart is more humble, and because of that, God trusts you with more. Chosen one, don't confuse silence with absence. Just because heaven was quiet doesn't mean heaven was inactive. Some of God's greatest miracles begin in complete silence. Seeds grow underground before anyone sees a harvest. Sunrise begins long before light reaches your window. In the same way, your miracles started before you ever noticed it. Right now, God is connecting people you've never met, opening doors you've never seen, removing obstacles you don't even know existed. One unexpected phone call, one conversation, one opportunity, one answered prayer can completely change the direction of your life. That's why you must not lose hope now. You're too close to what you've been praying for. And here's what God wants you to remember today. Never regret choosing obedience over popularity. Never regret choosing forgiveness over bitterness. Never regret choosing integrity over compromise. Because every hidden act of faith has a reward attached to it. Nothing done for God is ever wasted. If this message is speaking directly to your heart, write in the comments, Lord, I trust your timing. Not because those words create the miracle, but because they remind your own heart that your faith is still alive. Take a deep breath. Leave yesterday behind. Stop measuring your future by your past. Because the God who watched you in secret is preparing to honor you in ways that people cannot ignore. Your reward is closer than you think, and this is only the beginning. Chosen one. The moment you decided to trust God instead of your fear, something changed that your natural eyes could not see. You thought you were simply making one difficult decision, but heaven saw it as a declaration of faith. God says, you believed me before you saw the evidence, and that kind of faith is never ignored. There are people who only trust when everything makes sense, but you kept walking even when the road ahead was hidden. You kept praying even when heaven seemed silent. You kept believing even after disappointment knocked on your door more than once. That is why this season is different, because your faith has matured. Not the kind of faith that depends on feelings, but the kind that remains steady even during uncertainty. Chosen one. God is not rewarding you because he suddenly remembered you. He is rewarding you because the time He prepared for you has finally arrived. There is a difference. Nothing about your life has been forgotten. Every delayed answer, every painful lesson, every closed door, every lonely night, every prayer whispered through tears was becoming part of a much greater story. You only saw the waiting, but God saw the preparation. There were habits that needed to change. There was wisdom that needed to grow. There was patience that had to be developed, because the blessing you prayed for required a stronger version of you. If it had arrived too early, it could have become a burden instead of a blessing. But now, God says, you are becoming ready for what I have been preparing. Do not compare your journey with someone else's. Some people receive quickly. Others receive deeply. God has chosen to build something lasting in your life. That takes time. Think about a tree. The strongest trees spend years growing roots before anyone notices their height. In the same way, God has been strengthening your foundation while others only looked at the surface. People assumed nothing was happening. Some even believed you had been forgotten, but they never saw what heaven was building underneath. And now, the roots are strong enough to carry the fruit. Chosen one. You may soon notice small signs before the bigger breakthrough appears. Do not ignore them. A new peace where anxiety once lived. A conversation that unexpectedly opens a door. An opportunity arriving from someone you never expected. A problem suddenly becoming easier to solve. These are not accidents. They are reminders that God is already moving. Sometimes miracles don't begin with dramatic moments. Sometimes they begin with quiet changes that slowly transform everything. God often works in ways that protect His children from pride. Instead of giving everything at once, He leads you step by step. That way your gratitude grows together with your blessing. Chosen one. Be careful during this season. Not everyone around you will understand what God is doing. Some people only celebrate success after they can see it. Very few understand the years of hidden obedience that came before it. Do not seek their approval. Their opinion never determined your calling. God did. Keep your heart humble. Stay thankful. Continue praying the same way you prayed before the breakthrough. Never allow the blessing to replace the one who gave it, because your greatest treasure has never been the miracle itself. It has always been your relationship with God, and that relationship is becoming stronger every single day. There may still be moments when doubt whispers, "What if nothing changes?" When that thought comes, remember where God has already brought you from. The person you are today is not the same person you were a year ago. You have grown, you have healed, you have become wiser, you have survived battles that once looked impossible. That alone is evidence that God has been working all along. Chosen one. The next chapter of your life will require courage, not because danger is ahead, but because opportunity is. God is preparing doors that will ask you to step forward in faith once again. When those moments come, don't let fear convince you that you are unqualified. The same God who carried you through your hidden battles will also carry you through your public victories. If this message is strengthening your faith, write in the comments, "God, I choose to trust you completely." Not because those words earn your blessing, but because they remind your heart that your confidence belongs in God alone. Keep watching, chosen one. There is something God wants you to understand before the reward becomes visible. Many people pray for blessings, but very few prepare themselves to carry them. That is why your hidden season was never a punishment. It was a classroom. Every disappointment taught you wisdom. Every delay taught you patience. Every unanswered question taught you deeper trust. Looking back now, you may realize that if everything had happened exactly when you wanted, you would have missed the person God was shaping you to become. God says, "I never wasted your waiting. I was building your character while you were asking me to change your circumstances." That is why your breakthrough will not be temporary. It is being built on a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. Chosen one. You may soon notice that certain people begin acting differently toward you. Some who ignored you may suddenly respect you. Others who doubted you may become curious about your journey, and a few may quietly distance themselves. Do not let any of this distract you. People respond to visible change, but God responds to faithful hearts. Never allow human approval to become more important than God's approval. Remember, the same people who overlooked David before he became king could not stop God's purpose once his appointed time arrived. In the same way, no opinion has the power to cancel what God has already prepared for you. If he opens a door, no one can permanently close it. If he lifts you, no one can keep you down, because your future is not controlled by people's opinions. It is guided by God's purpose. Chosen one, there is another reason God allowed you to walk through difficult seasons. He wanted your testimony to carry authority. One day, someone who is ready to give up will hear your story. Someone struggling with fear will find courage because of your faith. Someone who believes they have been forgotten will remember that God never forgets his children. That is why your blessing is bigger than you. It is meant to become hope for someone else. Never underestimate the impact of your obedience. The decision you made in secret is already reaching further than you can imagine. God is opening opportunities that will not only bless you, but will also allow you to encourage others through your life. Chosen one, as these doors begin to open, protect your peace. Not every invitation deserves your attention. Not every opportunity belongs to your purpose. Ask God for wisdom before every important decision. A good opportunity is not always a God-given opportunity. The blessing you have prayed for will never require you to abandon your faith. God's direction always produces peace, even when it requires courage. So if confusion tries to lead you, pause, pray, listen. God has guided you this far. He will not suddenly leave you without direction. There may also be moments when old fears try to return. The enemy often whispers the loudest just before a breakthrough becomes visible. You may hear thoughts like, what if this doesn't last? Oh, what if I fail? What if I'm not ready? When those thoughts appear, do not fight them with emotion, fight them with truth. Remember every prayer God has already answered. Remember every impossible situation he already brought you through. Remember every time he made a way where there seemed to be none. The same God who carried you yesterday will carry you tomorrow. Chosen one, your greatest victory is not the blessing itself. It is the new level of trust that has been born inside your heart. That trust cannot be taken away by success, and it cannot be destroyed by delay. It has become part of who you are. God says, because you remained faithful in secret, I will trust you with greater things. So continue walking with humility. Continue choosing kindness. Continue forgiving quickly. Continue praying even after the miracle arrives, because your relationship with God must always be greater than the gifts he gives. If this message has encouraged your heart today, write in the comments, Lord, keep my heart faithful. Not because those words earn God's favor, but because they remind you that the greatest reward has always been his presence. And chosen one, as you reach the end of this message, there is one final truth God wants you to carry into the next season of your life. The reward is coming, but never forget what brought you here. It was not talent. It was not luck. It was not perfect circumstances. It was your willingness to trust God when no one else could see what he was doing. God says, the same faith that opened this door will keep you walking through it. Do not become so focused on the blessing that you forget the one who blessed you. Keep seeking God in private. Keep praying even after your prayers are answered. Keep serving even after your life begins to change. Because your greatest victory will never be what you receive. It will always be the person you become while walking with God. Chosen one, there will come a day when you look back at this season and smile. You will remember the nights you wondered if God was listening. You will remember the moments you almost gave up. You will remember every tear, every unanswered question, and every silent prayer. And then you will realize God was working during every single moment. Nothing was wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one act of obedience. Everything had a purpose. Everything was leading you here. That is why you must never allow fear to write the ending of your story. God has already written something greater. Maybe you don't have every answer today. Maybe you still don't know exactly how everything will happen, but you do know who is leading you, and that changes everything. When God is leading, You don't have to understand every step. You only have to keep following him. Chosen one, your hidden obedience has already become heaven's testimony. What you did in secret, God has chosen to honor openly. The people around you may only see the blessing, but you will always remember the battles that came before it. That memory will keep your heart humble. It will remind you that every good thing comes from God. As your life begins to change, use your blessing wisely, be generous, encourage those who feel forgotten, lift up those who are losing hope, because there was once a time when you needed encouragement too. Now God is preparing you to become an answer to someone else's prayer. That is one of the greatest rewards of all. Chosen one, the next chapter of your life is not built on fear. It is built on faith. Walk into it with confidence. Walk into it with peace. Walk into it knowing that God goes before you. The closed doors served their purpose. The waiting season served its purpose. The hidden battles served their purpose. Now a new season is beginning. A season of greater wisdom, greater peace, greater favor, greater purpose. Not because you earned God's love, but because you remained faithful while he was preparing what was ahead. So today, leave every burden at God's feet. Release every fear about tomorrow. Stop replaying the disappointments of yesterday. Lift your eyes with hope. Your story is not ending here. In many ways, it is only beginning. Before we finish, if this message has encouraged your heart, write these simple words in the comments. God, I will remain faithful. Let that be your personal reminder that no matter what happens, your trust belongs in him. And if this message brought peace to your heart, share it with someone who may need this encouragement today. May God's wisdom guide your decisions. May his peace guard your heart. May his strength carry you through every challenge. And may you never forget this truth. God saw what you did in secret. He never forgot your faith. And in his perfect time, he will accomplish every good purpose he has prepared for your life. God bless you, chosen one.